Good morning, my twinnies. It's your favorite Twinful Twin, Tasha. And I decided that I would spend my morning finishing up some tie blankets. We've had a little army of people working on tie blankets. We have about 30 more that we need to get done and powering through. I had a twin pre-cut a bunch and then tie a half. And then they are, I was able to meet with her and pick up what she had gotten done so far. And so now I'm finishing tying the other half of these blankets. And as soon as I'm done, I'm going to package them up and ship them. Hello, husband. Are you missing us? We're missing you. I see you watching me. Although I know you're driving right now, so you probably shouldn't be watching me. But I have the babies with me. Dee-dee-dee. And they can't wait for you to come home. Yay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the rewiring of your brain. I've had some interesting interactions lately in the twin community, specifically around grief, especially new loss grief, new loss twins who are like in that beginning stage of grief. And then I do have a few twins that whose twins have passed quite a while ago. And they're like, when does this end? When is this gonna stop? It's terrible. And so it's, the journey of a twinless twin is incredibly challenging. And all the studies that they have done, they have said that it's one of the most complicated styles of grief to manage. And so I'm on a mission as Twinful Twin Tasha, as an expert of twin loss. And people will say, well, how come you can say you're an expert? Like, why would you say you're an expert? Well, I say I'm an expert because I've lived with it for 43 years. And I'm sorry, after 4 decades, I think it makes me an expert, just by the way. And so through my life experience, that's why I feel like I'm an expert. Now, if you had asked me this question 6-7 years ago, hi, Patricia, good to see you, sweetheart. I'm glad you found the snake, by the way. That's awesome. So people would ask, or when you're dealing with the complexities of twin loss, and you are in that process of, if you have watched my 3-brain video, you'll understand the layers of your brain. And there is this element of, why is it so difficult? And as you get further down the path, it feels like it's not easing. Well, there's a whole lot of power in what we choose to fill our brain with. And so my mission is to come up with a new script for you. Well, not come up with, let me clarify. Share with you the script that I have leveraged for the past 6 years. If you asked me 6 years ago if I thought I was an expert on twin loss, I would tell you absolutely not. At that point in my journey, I felt like my life was a disaster. My second marriage had failed. I found myself, I guess it was 7 years ago now, I found myself in a hospital bed where I was literally filleted. I had an 18-inch incision on my abdomen to remove tumors, the biggest one being the size of a softball, and for neurofibroma. We didn't know if I had cancer or not. I mean, for lows of lows, that was by far my lowest low. I realized that I had not taken the time to rewire my brain. I had not taught myself how to speak to myself differently. I had not found a path at that point that was healthier and more in alignment with living a positive life. Now, at that time, I didn't have the term twinful. That was not something that had yet come to me. But I did come to an awareness that I didn't like feeling the way I felt anymore. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you now is because there's a lot of you that are really, really struggling. And not just twins either. It's parents who've lost a child that's a twin. It's siblings that have lost a twin, not just the twin, but the other siblings. It's spouses who are dealing with the twin who's lost the twin. I mean, there's a whole lot of you out there, okay, that touch many different aspects of a twin's life. And so part of the purpose of this is to help those who are not the twin understand what it is that they're going through. But the other part of it is to empower you with a new script, to empower you with a new message. So what did I do? Well, I'll tell you what I did. So I'm going to tell you right now, what did I do? When I finally made the mind decision that I was no longer comfortable with the way my life trajectory was going, I did not. Please, for the love of God, I need to change directions because this is not working for me. I started proactively pursuing a new way of thinking. And what I realized was that in that pursuit of a new way of thinking, I gained a level of what I call consciousness that transcends the physical mind. For me, it was the soul aspect of me. I do believe in souls. And so for those of you who do not believe that you have a soul, I'm probably not the person you need to be hanging out with, because I do believe we have a soul. And so you don't want to follow me anymore if you do not have a spiritual perspective, because that's what I talk quite a bit about. Anyways, I believe that my soul already knows what my purpose is and what the decisions I need to make and the path I need to be on and the direction I need to go and how I need to get there. Because I believe my soul came from God, and therefore it has that infinite wisdom that God imparted to it when he created me. I think that's awesome. What I realized was I was letting my mind get in the way. My mind was making choices. I was thinking through things and I was making decisions and I was doing things that didn't align with my true purpose. Mostly because my mind doesn't have that perspective. My mind filters all of my decisions through this lifetime's experience. And this lifetime has been filled with an enormous amount of grief. Why? Because my twin died 19 days before we turned 4. Hello. Like, my brain hadn't even fully formed yet. Like, I didn't even have the capacity to be able to understand what that meant, let alone figuring out how to cope with it. I mean, I hadn't even figured out, whatever. It was a difficult time. And so, long story short, after my surgery, literally while I was still in the hospital, because I was in the hospital for a few days, I decided to take a different path, and I started Googling and looking up some options, and I found what was called a 21-day meditation experience. Now, for me, it happened to be through the Deepak Chopra organization, but there's tons of them out there. Okay, so you have to find what works for you. But what I did was I took a very proactive measure to start tapping into my soul so that I could make different choices. And as soon as I did that, literally in the hospital, as soon as I did that, I knew I needed to commit energy towards the twin community. I knew right out the gate. I came up with this term or with the name Twin Enterprises for a business. And it was like, okay, Twin Enterprises, and I'm going to work with twins. And questions asked, what are you going to do? I have no idea. At that point, my mind still didn't have any clarity from my soul about what we were going to do. And so, but I decided I was going to make a conscious effort to be mindful of my thoughts. And so what happened was, as I started to go into that quiet space and work towards being able to tap into that intuition that we all have, some are better at tapping into it than others, only because they have more experience and they believe in it and that they can, and so they practice it, okay? But we all have it. I mean, we all have a soul, so we all have that gut feeling. There's so many ways that people talk about it. And so I really started quieting my mind when what I believed was unhealthy thoughts, when I believed the thoughts that led me to making choices that didn't align for my greatest good, I would immediately, and I mean immediately, stop and tell my mind that's not the direction I want to be thinking, and I would reinforce what I wanted. And so the process of rewiring my brain as I was working through my grief and realizing that I was not living my purpose and that I knew I needed to work with twins. I didn't know in what capacity, but that I wouldn't be able to help anybody if I couldn't get my own life on a better path. Okay? Like, key number 1, figure your own out. Okay? You got to figure your own out. So that's what I did. I put myself on a mission to figure out my stuff. And it took me about, I want to say it was probably 16 or 18 months. So it wasn't super fast. Like, it wasn't like I made a decision, oh, I'm going to be Twinful now, and now I'm Twinful. No, I'm sorry, honey, that's not the way it works. I had some work to do. And so I did. I started doing that deeper work. And I started, when a thought that came through, my dogs are excited because my husband just got home and he's been gone for 2 days. So they are super excited. I can hear his vehicle coming in. That's awesome. So I want to finish this thought though before I leave you folks and go spend time with him. I started doing that deeper work. I allowed myself to have that quiet time so that I could really, really tap into my soul. And when there was a thought that was not as positive or like, oh, this is so hard. Oh, I'm struggling so much. I'm really, really hurting. And I would dig deep into that. I would go, okay, do I want to be hurting for the rest of my life? No. So I started forcing the thought of, I'm learning on this journey. I'm realizing how powerful I am as a twin. I know that there's a community out there that I can interact with. When I had negative thoughts of lack of worth or I'm incomplete, half of me is gone, I will never feel whole again, I started rewriting that with, I am whole, I am complete, I have my own soul. Yeah, we may have shared an egg or we may have shared a womb, whether you're fraternal or identical. There was an element of that physical experience that, yes, was united, absolutely. However, we each have our own soul. Our soul didn't split. And that's the part that came from God. And so when I really allowed myself to accept that, which was hard, okay? It was hard because I had a lifetime of messaging about me being broken and that I would never, what is this silly hair right here? It's bugging me. Just look at that silliness, whatever. Anyways, so it was hard for me to really, initially to figure out that it was okay to feel whole. Like I had to give myself permission because I'd been told my whole life that I would always feel broken and that I would always feel like I was half a person. And frankly, until I gave myself permission to accept that I had my own soul. Hi, Dee Dee, I see you. Welcome. Gave myself permission that I had my own soul, and therefore there was an element of completeness within me if I allowed myself to acknowledge it. Now, if you never acknowledge it and you always tell yourself that half of you is gone, then you're always going to feel like half of you is gone. And I did that for nearly 40 years. So, I get it. But I was tired of feeling that way. Like, come on. Like, clearly, I'm still living. I have things going on here. How can I make this experience that I'm still having? Because clearly I'm still here. No, she's not, but I am. How can I make more of it? So that's what I decided. I decided I was going to figure that out. And I started making different choices. I started surrounding myself with different people. I made new friends. Gosh, it was another couple years before I found the Facebook group. Like, I knew I was going to work with twins. I just didn't know how. But it was still another few years before I got involved with TTSGI and really started getting involved with twins. As soon as I got on the Facebook group, within a few months, they had encouraged, they saw that how I was responding to twins' messages about grief were words of encouragement and providing a positive perspective and attempting to instill some tools, give them some tools in ways that they could be more effective in their journey. And so they did encourage me to become a regional coordinator. And I did that for a short period of time. And so that was kind of my doorway into the twin community. And what I did was I had taken the couple years of very specific energy that I had put towards rewiring my brain, changing how I viewed my experience as a twin, and focusing on rather than why is she gone, I started focusing on why am I still here? Show me that. That's what I need to figure out. And until I was able to change from why is she gone to why am I still here, that was when the whole twinful concept started to become my reality. And it wasn't until I made that shift. So as you're thinking through, as you're processing your grief and you are approaching an opportunity to handle things differently, like you get to the point where you're just kind of tired of all of the pain and the struggling and you're like, there's got to be something more. When you're ready for that, when you're not just in survival mode and you're really ready to start shifting things, that's when the idea of rewiring your brain becomes super powerful. Because now you're seeking another way of thinking. And when you allow yourself to tap into your soul consciousness, that higher level of navigation that's not based on this physical experience, but based on your connection to your creator and ultimately your connection to your twin, suddenly there becomes this level of clarity. And that it was crazy for me. It was transformational. And yes, it happened in phases. It happened bit by bit. It wasn't like it. The only thing that was very clear right from the very beginning, like as soon as I decided I didn't want my life to be like this anymore, it was very clear I was going to work with twins. And I didn't know why. I just knew that that was what I needed to do. And so once I made that shift from thinking twinless, like that I was a twin whose twin had died, I had put so much focus and energy on that. And that I was somehow trying to fill a gap or fill that loss. And I shifted it to, I am a twin that's still alive. And I have purpose and my soul is whole. It came from our creator. She's with my creator. My creator created both of us. If I allow myself to tap into that truth, then I know I'm going to start making better choices. And I did. Oh my gosh, I did. My whole career path changed. I started on a completely new trajectory that was very, very fulfilling in the beginning. It felt like a whole new world was opening up to me. I started surrounding myself with different people and I was creating much healthier relationships. I found myself around people that believed in me and that believed in my future and believed that I was powerful. Like they didn't even know the twin loss side of me because they met me after I made that shift. And again, the twinful term didn't come up for me much later, but I started on that path and then I found TTSGI. I got involved with that. Then the twinful thing came up and then I was the regional coordinator and then we started the Time Blanket Project because we wanted to give, and that was just an idea. That came from my quiet moment with myself, my twin, and my creator. That wasn't something that, it was like one of those aha moments. Like it didn't come from my mind. And I know that so deep in my soul. It was soul directed. What I didn't realize, which I believe obviously my twin and God and whoever else was up there helping coordinate all this, they knew. But I didn't realize when I started the Time Blanket Project that it would explode. It would literally explode. Guys, we're like in 10 countries. Like it's crazy. We're getting ready to ship, we're going to be over 220 blankets when we launch the new Time Blanket Project on June 1st. This little itty bitty twinful twin Tasha with her little hands of volunteers and the folks that helped me in the beginning, we will have accomplished 220 blankets in 10 countries. We now have a project manager, a formal request form. We've got a Facebook page that's going to be launching on June 1st. We've got a whole army of volunteers across the nation. We've got a few people in international countries that have asked to take that on, and it's exploded. Well, I didn't see that, okay? I didn't even know that was possible. I just wanted to tie a few blankets and help people feel better. So that's what I'm saying. When you decide that you want to start doing things differently. You want to experience your journey as a twinful twin tied into the soul aspect of your twinfulship, your twinship, and you tap into the soul connection to your twin that you established before you were born, and you seek that clarity, it will come. When the negative thoughts come into your mind, you have to say, stop. No, I'm not going to think that way anymore. I am a twin. I have power. I have purpose. Let's figure that out. Immediately change your thought pattern to something that's healthier. And I had to practice. Like I said, it took a good 18 months before I got where I felt like I was really good at it, or much better at it than when I started. In all transparency, I still struggle, okay? Like, hello, I'm human. I have my moments of doubts. I still struggle. What are you doing, girlfriend? I don't even know. But when I stay in those, when I give myself permission to continue to have those quiet moments with my creator and my twin, in the right timing, in the right moment, the clarity comes. And I just keep moving forward in faith with that. I just keep trusting. And that when more clarity comes, I will do I will take that next step forward. I will allow myself to be guided, and I will make the choice that aligns with my divine purpose, and the Tide Blanket Project is a perfect example of that. So, welcome to your journey, my friends. You have an awesome, awesome, awesome opportunity to decide how you want to think. And if there's something bouncing around in your head that you don't like, your soul can take control, but you have to give it permission to do so. You have to sit quietly, take the deep breaths, get that oxygen in that higher part of your brain so that you can gain that clarity that you feel you're lacking. And that's how I did it. There you have it. So I just finished this blanket. I'm going to wrap it up and stick it in the packaging so that I can ship it this week. My husband just got back from his little weekend getaway, so I'm going to go give my man a big hug and welcome him home. I hope you folks have an awesome Sunday. Thank you for spending some time with me. I appreciate you all so, so much. Brandy, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Filling the emptiness. Crystal. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me answer that real quick. I was getting ready to say goodbye, but I see that question, so I really want to answer that for you, Crystal. So filling the emptiness. The first step I made was making a conscious decision to tell myself I wasn't empty. Oh God, right? Like, what? How can you do that? So what I did was I went into that quiet space and I allowed myself to accept the fact that I had my own soul. The feeling of emptiness comes from your physical body, okay? And your physical body is governed by your brain. Your physical body is what was created by the union of your parents. And the miracle that makes that possible is that soul connection that your God, like for me, again, this is what I believe, that God decided it was time for your soul to come, and this union of your parents is what created your body. Whether you came from a single egg and was split into two, again, two separate bodies, even though you came from a single egg, it's divided. You still have your own body, but more importantly, you have your own soul. And so the emptiness piece of it, what I worked on was translating that in my mind. Okay, because it's an absolute valid feeling, and I felt empty for 40 years, okay? I mean, let's just, or whatever it was, 36 years, whatever. Before I made that decision, my twin died, and I was 40 years old when I made the decision, so she'd been gone for 36 years. So, my point, I made a decision. I decided I have a complete body, I have a whole soul, I am whole, and I am complete. And the feeling of emptiness was actually my body translating what felt like loss of my twin. It was my body's way of processing that. But when I allowed my soul to assure my body, you are whole, you are complete, you are full, that was when that message of emptiness started to change. And I realized that the more I focused on living this life to the fullest, because I'm still here. The other message I gave myself is 2 souls, 1 body, which is a very unique perspective, but super powerful as a twin. Because, we experienced we came into this world together, we shared the womb, we came out together, blah, blah, that whole thing. And so the idea of 2 souls, 1 body is like, okay, I am whole, I am complete, I am powerful, I still have all that cool, badass wiring that I was born with. I resonate with people very quickly. I'm super intuitive, and all of the twins are there. It's a superpower. We seriously have a superpower when it comes to that. Being able to connect very, very quickly with other people. And it's because of the way we are wired. Our bodies are wired differently. Biochemically, our brain is wired differently. So I studied that. I learned more about that. And I filled that emptiness with the reality, the consciousness choice of understanding my wholeness in the soul that my Creator created, and that I could take that information, I could take that knowledge, I could take that level of consciousness and proceed with this life that I'm still living. On a daily basis, I connect with my Creator, I connect with my twin, and I seek guidance on what choices I should be making to fulfill my purpose. And again, that's where the Tie Blanket Project became a part of my journey, and so many others. So that's how I deal with the emptiness, or dealt with the emptiness. Do I still at times feel it? Absolutely. It's not like I'm free of it. There are definitely times when I still feel the loss, I feel the grief. When I allow myself to dig into that area of darkness of my journey, I can really go deep into that. And I'm very good at it. I've had 43 years practice doing that. But what I've done is I've learned to give myself a timeline. Like I go, okay, I'm going to allow myself to feel this for, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half an hour, a day, whatever it is that I feel I need. And I go into that dark place for however long. And I literally set a timer. I will literally pick up my phone between my tears and go, okay, girlfriend, you got 10 minutes. So dig deep, get it out, do whatever you need to do. But when that 10-minute chime hits, you're going to pick yourself up. Like my mama always told me, pick yourself up, wash your face off, and get on with your life, because you're still here. You're still here. And you need to get on with it. So that's how I handled my emptiness. That's how I still handle my emptiness. And the more I practice it, what I find is that it's fewer and farther between. And when I allow myself to dive deep into it, because I've given myself permission to dig into it and feel it and then work on transmuting it, like I don't like feeling empty. Let me just be honest with you. I mean, it's a part of my human experience, but I don't enjoy it. So while I'm in that darkness, I cry, get all those toxins out. And then as I know that I'm having an opportunity, the chime goes off and it's like, okay, pull yourself together. It's when I'm in that pulling myself together, I rewire my brain. And I go, I'm whole, complete, and perfect exactly the way I am. I have a divine purpose. Now go get it. Go get it. And I just tell myself, I'm whole, complete, and perfect exactly the way God wanted me to be. And I'm having the experience that God designed for me. So get after it. You've got a whole world of twins just waiting to meet you and hear from you and be encouraged and loved and supported. They need to hear your message and how you got to where you are, girl. So get off your booty. Go make some blankets, would you fool? Fill it with love and spread them across the world. Get it done. So I do that. I go from really deep grief to I become my own cheerleader, and then I get after it. And I make these crazy videos for you guys. And hopefully, and an encouragement to all of you. And hopefully you find a space inside yourself where you can dig deep, purge all that toxicity, figure out what it is that you really want, start telling yourself that message, and get after it. I am your favorite Twinful Twin, Tasha. I'm totally here to encourage you. I love you all so very much. Make it a great day.